Green Bay Day to Day. What's going on, everybody? It's ya boy, Beefy Bitch. Spoiler warning, we might actually talk about a Monday Night Football game. Okay, here we go. We're just going to get right into it because, wow. My buddy, okay, so I've mentioned him a couple of times. He listens to the cast. My buddy Jeff, a huge Broncos fan, obviously does not like the Chiefs at all, which might sincerely be putting it incredibly lightly. So you know what the F is going on with the Broncos? It's a dead meme by now, but he has more touchdowns. I'm sorry, more bathrooms than there are touchdowns. You score 9 points. Your backup Tyler Hundley comes into the game for the Ravens, and coordinates a game-winning drive. I mean, my thing about the Broncos will always be, damn, that defense is insane. And to be coupled with, arguably, I don't know, what would you say, the worst offense that I've ever really seen, that I've paid attention to. It's insane. Again, that stat obviously still holds water, that it's like 9-2 or something like that, or 9-3 or whatever, if the offense manages to score 18 points. And they halved that total. So, I don't know. I would not change a single thing about that defense. Whoever's coordinating that defense, dude, holy shit. With Joe Barry in Green Bay, I mean, I might be fucking, if I'm LaFleur, I'm calling that guy personally and being like, hey, what would it take to get you over here? Because we need a defense. Although they did play pretty well. We'll talk about them later. All that there is really to say is, like, how can you not call Russell Wilson, right? Even if he kind of turns it around. Let's say he goes 2 touchdowns with, let's say he throws one more pick for the rest of the season, but gets 2 touchdowns every game. It's still like, yeah, but that was when everything basically was wrapped up for them. They only shot their draft position. Which brings me to the Green Bay Packers. As much as I'd like to say, like, hey, sometimes it just takes a win, and then you're rolling. And that's what happened when they won the Super Bowl, right? In 2010. Sure, but I'm going to go ahead and say no, probably not. There's still a lot left to be desired in the respect that it's like, offense seems a little bit flashy. You got to love what Christian Watson's doing. That's fucking insane. But, and the defense, like, just inexplicably will just give a quarterback a 50-yard touchdown run. That's fucking insane to me. This may hurt to hear, as much as it is to say it, or that it's to say, but I don't think the Packers are, things don't get easier for them. They still got to play the Finns, they still got to play the Vikings, get the Rams coming out of the bye, so, I don't know, hopefully that's feel good more than it is like a close game, or even, heaven forbid, a loss, but rolling into the bye week, it seems like we needed Aaron Jones, is a little bit hurt. Aaron Rodgers still got a thumb. I don't know what about, his torso didn't seem to bother him too much. Maybe Dobbs comes off of injury, and I don't know. We'll see. But offensive line played pretty well. Excuse me. So, I don't know. There's no real hot take when your team is kind of a dumpster fire. I'm certainly not going to be the guy that's like, oh, hey, whatever credibility that I already don't have, I'm not going to ship it up the river by saying, hey, it takes one, and they're going to go on a run. We'll talk about it later, but you might as well say that it's kind of wrapped up. Any kind of help that the Giants and the Commanders could have given us, or I guess the Giants or the Commanders could have given us, went by the wayside when they tied. But let's not overstep ourselves. The Colts collapse. Yeah, collapse is kind of a wrong word. They use that for like, oh, you got a big lead, but then you found a way to lose it. But they were playing kind of step for step with the Cowboys. I don't know if you guys got to watch that game. 33 points in the fourth quarter. It's pretty fucking insane. So for Matt Ryan, I don't know, man. I don't think he's got it anymore. You hate to say it, because, as I understand it, Matt Ryan's a really good guy. Lord knows he works hard, but I don't know, man. Sometimes it just goes and you can't get it back. Boy, howdy. I mean, 5 turnovers in a game already is like, well, what are we talking about? To be like, oh, plus you got outscored by 33 points, And I can't throw the defense under the bus for that one, because it's like, how many times were they starting like inside the 20, the opposing offense? It's like, what do you expect us to do? Otherwise, I think that you're pretty much talking about, as far as like playoff positioning goes, I think you're talking about the Eagles are probably number 1, at worst number 2, and it's got to be that the Eagles are 5th, although they play this weekend, I think. So I don't know. I might be eating my words within one whole fucking week. That would be shitty, wouldn't it? Okay. I got a little brother that's a Tom Brady fan for some silly ass reason. I feel about the same. Listen, I know that Tom Brady has made the record more respectable since he's been with Tampa Bay, but there's something about the way that he plays against the Saints that I would not say isn't good. That's not what I would say. I think that defense just kind of has his number, sort of. Although, if they're still missing some pieces, and you can't win any games by scoring 0 whole fucking points. So, and I think that the defense is, I don't want to say a lot better, but at least moderately good, right? Than it was during that. Well, you know what? Honestly, like, I don't think that the defense for Tampa Bay has been playing badly at all. So much as like just sometimes it gets kind of overwhelmed. But yeah, I mean, well, fuck. Hang on one second, guys. Okay, so it's in Tampa. Yeah, I mean, it's got to be the Buccaneers, right? I don't know. I mean, I guess we'll have to fucking see. I really am not confident about either team in any real respect. Like I'm saying, probably Tampa's defense gets it done, but I don't know, man. I've seen them hold a team to 17 and lose it. Seen them hold a team to 14 and lose it, right? So we'll have to see. Yeah, right on, Jeff. Right on. So, like I said, Jeff's a huge Bucs fan. I'm sorry, a huge Broncos fan, and really obviously dislikes the Chiefs. So they lost in a nail biter to the Cincinnati Bengals. What might get lost? So I think I mentioned it earlier in the year when they lost to the Colts, when the Chiefs lost to the Colts. In that respect, Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs are 0-2 against the Colts. Now Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs are 0-3 against the Bengals. So what's kind of been flying around a little bit is like, oh, this might be the Brady Mahomes or Brady Manning of what was Brady and Manning, and I think that holds a little bit more water than Mahomes Allen. Not because like, if the thing about Brady and Manning was that Manning got all the awards, Brady won all the games. So it's like people kind of think that it's a far and away. I think Hurts has a really good case for MVP, but a lot of people think that it's far and away Mahomes, including Nick Wright, obviously. That's his team. But I mean, if Travis Kelce doesn't fumble it, I mean, I think you got to be feeling a lot better about the Chiefs' chances to win. But the way to end the game, I mean, that was just straight up like, we're not going to give you a shot to come back with any kind of time or anything like that. They get like a 15-yard completion or something like that on 3rd and 11. And I gotta give my hat comes off to a guy that has a sack like that, to be like, no, we're not. We win this game. So I don't know. Speaking of not winning, the Giants and the Commanders tie it up last night. So I guess the big question is like, okay, so how can the Packers kind of climb out of it? I really don't think that they can. We're talking about a team that needs to, let's put it nicely, right? They need to win out and really hope that one of those teams doesn't win. Now, the Giants continue to help us out in that respect, but again, they have the tiebreak over the Packers. So if they win 2, okay, the door is closed over there, but, even if they didn't have the tie, right? And if the Commanders win 2, then the door's closed on that one. And that's not to mention Seattle, whom, I don't know, Aaron Rodgers said, hey, until we're mathematically eliminated, I want to be playing. I can respect and appreciate that. But at a certain point, though, I think you also have to, the odds are against, weirdly. If one of the teams had won, then, okay, the aim would be, all right, let's just hope that the Giants kind of, again, not lose out. But, again, that one team didn't lose it really does make our chances much, much slimmer. Obviously not great for the team. Okay. But, of course, the Packers aren't out of it. So we'll talk a little bit more about that here in a few minutes. The Lions slam Nick's Prince that was promised. Yeah. So I don't know if you guys know. The ban was up this week. I don't want to make this a show about, what's right with Nick Wright, but just very quickly, he hasn't been allowed to bet on the Jags, and then the ban was lifted, and it fucking re-implemented it, because holy shit, man. And I don't know what you can even say about this game. There were a lot of times where I don't want to, I was in high school and I played football and we got our asses kicked, and we would be able to say, at the very worst, the score is not indicative of how the game actually played out. If we didn't fumble this, where if we actually cashed in on a couple of our 2-point conversions, because there aren't really any field place kickers at the high school, or at least they are few and far between. Anyone that can accurately kick like a 35-yarder, where I grew up, certainly. But this really didn't seem to be the case. With that said, on the other hand, on the other side of things, there were definitely a few times that his receiver dropped a pass, or they coughed up a fumble. But I just, it's crazy to me. I don't know. We all gave him that pass for Urban Meyer. Well, now Doug Peterson, Super Bowl winning head coach, is the guy there. And I mean, I don't think that it's unfair to wonder, is Trevor Lawrence, does he have the potential to be a good quarterback? I would actually even say, I'm sure that he does have the potential, but it doesn't matter if he's not, willing to put in the work and put in the time and put in the effort and, work and effort, I guess is pretty much the same thing, but, right, willing to study film, and I'm sure that he does all that stuff, but if he doesn't do all that stuff to, to the level that Allen or Mahomes or Rodgers or Brady had, or, the list of quarterbacks that just bleed football during the regular season. It goes on and on. So, but, alrighty, before I let you guys go, Packers schedule, it's not worth, look, when you talk about a team like the Green Bay, you know what, let's just go through it. So we got to play against we're hosting the Rams. We're going to Miami. We're hosting Minnesota. We're hosting Detroit. Okay, which one of those sounds like a win? At the beginning of the season, you probably would have said, well, all of them are winnable, right? Probably the Rams. Probably not the Finns. Probably not the Vikings. And if the indication of how they've played this last week is any indicator, probably not the Lions. That wouldn't surprise me if we ended up 1-3. And so, okay. The worst, the more important storyline, I think, is when we saw Jordan Love against the Eagles, there was reason to suggest that it might actually be pretty fucking good. I don't know what he's going to be able to do, or if he's really going to have any time. If we win against the Rams, it probably pushes all the way past the Minnesota game to see if we have any time to really collect and get back into the playoff push. I'm going to doubt it for obvious reasons, but maybe. So that's what Aaron Rodgers was saying, right? Is that unless we're mathematically eliminated, I want to be playing. Okay, so if we're not eliminated against the Vikings, or if we are, that's one whole game, or possibly 0. That's the thing that's crazy. So, I understand where it's all coming from. I as much as I would obviously love to see them in the postseason, I think that would be a huge fucking win on how the season started. For if you can push back into the postseason, we're talking about what everybody thought was a sunk season and still is when you're talking about Titletown. I get it. But, all you got to do is win against the guy ahead of you. That's it. And that's what the team, I think, really needs to understand today is that if you beat the guy in front of you, then you're always talking about the possibility of what could happen next. But they continue to find ways to lose. So, listen, I think that's everything, guys. You guys take care of yourselves. Thanks for listening. I love you bunches. You can always follow me on Twitter at GB_D2D, or you can send me an email at GB-D2D@outlook.com. Love ya. Bye-bye.